Welcome to your Chips and Salsa show. This is Don Jorge Alacran with my co-host, Doña Cheryl Rosado,
Hello,
and
I'm here.
we have a guest here today, and she's in person, and
Our favorite kind.
she's a very interesting lady, and you'll hear from her in a second. Today's the 11th of February,
Nope,
and
it's March.
I mean March 2025, and it's been a
George
busy
going back in time
it's been a
today.
busy week in politics, and all we could do is hope for a good turnout in Washington, that they pass the bill by Friday, and that a continuation bill, I guess it is, and that a CR, I think that's what it's called, right? A continuation resolution or something. And Trump wants it that way so that we can at least go to September with the good for him to bring some goodness to our country. But right now, Cheryl, I'll turn it to Cheryl because she's going to mention a couple of things, and then she's going to turn it over to our guests.
Yes. So first, before we move any further, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We have some really great sponsors, and we really appreciate them. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to have the show and be able to mention our guests and all the things cool things we get to talk about. So thank you to National Automotive Repair. That's an honest mechanic here in the Valley, right off the 17. And we have, One Team, One Dream Foundation, and they do a lot of great work, and we're very proud to have them as our supporters. And Pure 5 Extraction, who we have to thank for our studio. So big shout out to them. And Canaloo Air, who is also an honest air conditioning company. They also do plumbing now. So they had a great February special. I have to reach out to the owner, see if they have anything else in the works for you guys in case you have any air conditioning needs. And let's see, who else do we have? AZ Injection Perfection, which I was mentioning to Liz earlier. She Botoxed my forehead. So very cool things for that if you're into body sculpting, or she does PRP facials and now lash extensions. So very cool, very fun things. And then on a personal note, I was telling our guest and George, and shout out to my producer Eric, who's so awesome, and without him we couldn't do anything. But we were in San Diego this past weekend. My daughter, who's sitting right here, Sydney, she had her first out-of-state gymnastics meet, and it was very exciting. Me and the kids got to go and see her, and I was very excited for that and to be able to experience all that with the kids. This is her first season competing at all. So it was very fun. And that was the very last meet of the season. And thank you to Mr. Cameron Colvin, because he sponsored us and he helped us get out there to San Diego. So thank you to you. Thank you to him. Thank you to everyone. And
one thing I want to mention.
Sure.
Canaloo Air, ladies and gentlemen, chipsters out there, the summer is coming. You're gonna want to have your air conditioning checked. You
need it in tip-top shape for the summer.
And we recommend Canaloo Air. So Eric's going to put the information on our website, and contact them. Get your house up to date, because when it gets hot, it gets hot.
Yes, and it's already getting warm. I know it poured rain last week, but it is getting warm. Hopefully it'll have nice weather this weekend. It's going to be the March for Life on March 15th. There's a rally at Wesley Bowen Plaza at 11, and at noon the march starts. I'm not exactly sure where it ends or how that works, because usually me and the kids just do the rally part. I know that the TARs are going to be there selling. No, actually, I don't think they're selling anything this time, but they're going to be there to try and promote the club that they have to get conservative kids and teens interested in politics. So they want to be out there. I told them it would be a great event because there's always so many kids at that event. There's a lot of the Catholic schools there, and a lot of people who are going to share their values and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. But let's
your fundraiser still.
Yes, the TARs are selling raffle tickets, $25 a ticket. We're drawing a winner in June, and it's ArizonaTARS.com is their website. And let's see, you can win either. Yeah, you can email me, pc.cheryl.rosado@gmail.com, if you're interested in purchasing a ticket for that. You can win. There's a handgun, and it has Trump engraved on the side, or his and hers electric scooters. So you get to pick your prize there. I personally
want the handgun.
really want the scooter, actually. But I would say either one would be awesome to win. So so they got that, and I think they're going to be doing a second raffle too. So they got a lot of stuff, and they're selling the woke tears for $2 a bottle, and they say make hydration great again. They're really cool. I should have brought one because I have those. I could show them off. But so that's that. So
Gala tickets.
no, gala's over. So, but that was fun while it lasted. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Today we're very excited. We have National Committeewoman Liz Harris here to speak to us, to talk about everything that's going on, what it's like. She's our new National Committeewoman because she was just elected at the state convention last year. She's also the LD 13 chairman. And
life is good. Life is good. And we're looking forward to 2026 and having lots of Republicans win up and down the ballot, especially school board and city council. So important that we get in the right people.
We actually have 2 City of Phoenix City Council candidates going to be on the show next week.
Awesome.
Yes. So Matt Evans.
Yes.
He's going to be and Michael Del Prete, I think is how you say
Wonderful.
it. Maybe I'm putting too much accent in that. I don't know. But we're going to meet him and get to see Matt again next week. I'm very excited for that. I know they're having Matt's idea is to have like a coalition. So to have a Republican candidate in every single City of Phoenix district that's up, and they're all going to like work together, which is all I know. That's teamwork makes the dream work. It really does. And they can pool their funds, their time, their volunteers, and they can make a bigger impact together than by themselves, which is, I wish the whole state party could follow.
That would be awesome.
Pattern of thinking. Yeah. But so I'm glad that you mentioned that. There's city council's it's already a thing.
Yeah.
So,
and school boards too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anyone who's running or who's expressed yet, but as soon as they are, our show will be happy to have them on and support them and however we can, because we want school board is so important. I mean, we saw during COVID, they're the ones who were voting to shut things down and keep things locked up and mandate masks. And
so why did you run for state committeewoman?
For National Committeewoman.
I mean, for state National Committeewoman. I mean, this is the top.
Well, let me what I'd like to do, and I've talked about this, so I was not involved in politics prior to President Trump. I just thought all politicians was a lot of lip service.
Like 2016 Trump or 2020 loss?
Oh, no, 2015. So I was born in Manhattan. So, and I lived on the Jersey side, but I spent a lot of time in Manhattan, and we watched what Trump did to Manhattan. He cleaned up 42nd Street. He and Giuliani did so many wonderful things. So when I'm out here in Arizona, I voted for Bush. I voted for John McCain. I always voted for I was always voting Republican.
I know. And people are like, "Oh, you voted for John McCain." Look, at full disclosure, you guys, I held a rally for Mitch Romney. Okay, a sign waving event. Why? Because he won the nomination, and I'm trying to get a Republican elected.
Right.
Okay.
And for me, it was
right.
I didn't know any better.
and I didn't either. But
so when Trump came down the elevator in 2015, I got really giddy and excited, and I said, "Okay, this is wonderful, but he'll never win because he's not a politician." Like I truly,
he ran a lot of times, right?
No, not really. Not as an official candidate.
He'd been on the ballot before, as an hadn't he? Are you sure?
He teased like people.
I know he said it, but I'm pretty sure he was on the ballot before.
No,
I don't think so. But anyway, he comes down the escalator. I get so excited. Don't think he has a chance.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't think he had a chance.
And but I was not Cruz. I wasn't anybody else. I was always Trump, always a Trump supporter. And I just remember where I was when we kind of knew he was probably going to win in 2016. I was at my gym, and I'm like, I start like jumping up and down, and all these strangers surround me, and I'm like, I think he's got a shot. I couldn't believe it. I have the goosebumps right now, angel bumps. And sure enough, he did win. And it's kind of funny because we learned that he won that night. It wasn't like 2020.
Right.
So at that point, people had seen me going to the Trump rallies at the Phoenix Convention Center, and some PCs, very good PCs, they came up to me and they said, "Oh, Liz, you like politics. We know you do a good job on the HOA board. You show up, you vote. Would you like to be a PC?" And I'm like, "What's a PC?"
What's a PC?
I had no idea. So they came to my house, they explained it to me, and I'm like, I didn't even know my CD at that point. Like
Right.
I knew who my congressman was, but I didn't know numbers and LD. So I went to my first meeting, my first LD meeting. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like political church. This is
Mhm.
wonderful.
Mhm.
Like I liked it because they were speaking my language. And then I realized this is why I like Arizona so much, because we're a Republican state.
Mhm.
Because leaving New York, New Jersey, that's very blue. Like you come out of the womb blue in New Jersey. And it's not because of a lack of oxygen, it's because of indoctrination. So anyway, so you come out here. So Trump won. I was super excited, and then it was in 2019. I'm like, well, I'm a precinct committeeman, but I want to do more. And one of the first things I ever did was I did a fundraiser for Brandon Straka of #Walkaway. I just put it together like with a team of people, and we raised, I think it was only about $10,000, but we raised money for him, and we had all the Republicans come because my thought on the whole concept of walkaway is if we, even to today, people to walk away from the Democrat Party and even independents, away from hiding behind that independent status and become Republicans, we're going to have a much, much better and more efficient country.
Yeah.
So okay, so then the next thing you know, you're a PC, and then the next thing is you become a state committeeman. So I didn't become a state committeeman right away, but then, state committeeman, and then you're just watching everything. And I think I ran a little risk, because if I got elected as national committee woman and Trump did not win, I'd be miserable right now as national committee woman, because the truth of the matter is that the RNC and the DNC, they really have a much bigger role when the president is of that party.
Hmm.
So because so now I'm technically, as national committee woman, I'm on the RNC board, which is comprised of 168 members. We don't even call it the RNC board. We call it the 168.
The 168.
So I'm so privileged and honored and blessed and happy. And I think, Cheryl, you asked me earlier, is it everything I thought? Yeah, it's pretty much everything I thought. I just feel like we could do more.
Mhm.
We could do more. There are two committees at the RNC. One is called the Temporary Committee on Election Integrity,
Mhm.
which I'm very excited about, and the Temporary Committee on Grassroots. And election integrity, I think that speaks for itself. A lot of us want one day, one vote,
Yes.
paper ballots,
No
smaller
machines.
precincts, no machines, hand
Precinct style
counts.
voting,
Yeah, all that. And I think, even Trump's talk, that there's a lot of conversation about that in Washington,
Exciting.
D.C. It's extremely exciting. I'm just going to say they're saying 3 days, and I'm hardcore on that one day. Do you know why?
Why?
Because when you expand it to the 3 days, overnight is when you have time for insertion and for them to figure out
How many votes they need.
what they need. So I'm 1 day of constitutional voting. So on all my on all my
And make
tweets,
it a national holiday, or
national holiday, absolutely.
Mhm.
State by state holiday first to get it, and then go to national holiday. I don't know if our legislators would make it a state holiday. Maybe not. I don't know if Katie Hobbs would sign that, but probably not. So
Maybe we make it think it's her idea.
I don't know how we do that.
Inception.
She won't.
And by the way, Katie Hobbs signed one of my bills. I just have to say that.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with election integrity. It had to do with appraisers, but I did get a bill signed by Katie Hobbs. That's a big thing.
I
for a
know, the veto
Republican.
queen. That's
Yeah.
that's huge, actually. You should be very proud.
But I was expelled by the time
By
it
the
was
time it
signed.
happened.
Yeah, so,
Maybe that's why she did it too.
yeah.
She's like, no harm, no foul.
Oh,
She's fine.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, National Committee Woman, it's great. It's all at my National Committee Woman in Arizona. It's at my expense. There's basically summer meetings, winter meetings, fall meetings, and they're all over the country, and I meet with the chairmen and national committee woman of the 50 states, and then we have territories. They're on the board as well.
How many territories do we have?
I think it's 6. I think.
It's like Guam, Puerto Rico, like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first got introduced to state committee, national state committee man, and national state committee woman, they were our informational people. They would come from the national and give us updates.
Yep.
And we would always present them, and they would give us
what you gave an update at the state meeting earlier
Yes.
this year, right?
I gave an update. So I mentioned, 2024, the winter meeting was right before the inauguration. It was a lot of congratulations, rah, rah, because we got President Trump in. I just wish, as I said earlier, I wish that we recognized, down ballot, we didn't do so well.
And that's why that's your burden for this upcoming cycle.
Right.
is
Going
that
into
down ballot stuff.
2026. And until we can get really honest voting, it's going to be hard. So
Right. That's what we need. You can't really trust the process, or you can't
So for this cycle,
confidence in it.
we just have to knock on doors, get Republicans that haven't voted in a while to vote Republican, get independents to come over. We have to really work hard.
I think we have to work exceptionally hard. And one thing that, as chair of my LD, one thing that I'm really trying to zone in on is not just knock doors, but when you're a PC, there should be 125 registered Republicans that you serve. And so I really want the PCs to develop relationships with these 125 people so that it's not a cold knock on the door. And that's how the system is really set up, for us to have these relationships with voters. And we meet the 125, and then we have those 125 work on their neighbors who might be we call them PNDs, but they're the independent voters. And it's got to be word of mouth. It's got to be more than just knocking on doors.
How big is your LD member wise?
My people wise,
Yeah.
I think it's like 175,000 people.
No.
How many PCs do you have in your LD?
I mean, how many PCs?
In my LD, I have 267 PCs.
And your turnout during the meetings?
We have about 80. About 8, so it's about a third. Yeah,
I feel like that seems to run true no matter how big or small the LD is. You got this many people who are,
and it's
your diehards. They're going to come to the meetings.
But it's not always the same 1/3. So
that's nice.
And then I think if we have Andy Biggs, Congressman Andy Biggs coming in and speaking, the turnout's a little bit higher.
What LD is that again?
He's our congressman.
She's an LD13.
LD13, CD5, and then we serve a little bit of CD4.
Where geographically is LD13?
LD13 is pretty much the majority of Chandler, a little bit of Gilbert, and all of Sun Lakes.
Nice.
So Sun Lakes is good because you know what the people over 60 do? They turn out to vote. Yeah.
They're passionate about voting. They're gonna vote.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We have we both live in blue areas. So because he's in LD22 and I'm in 11, so that's very blue, and it's hard to, sometimes people just feel so alone, isolated, like they're the only conservatives around. So it's hard to get them jazzed to go out and vote sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're first vice chair.
Yes, I'm first vice chair.
And I'm first vice chair in our LD.
Nice.
To Steve Robinson.
Nice.
And Shelby Bush used to be our chairman. Now she's first vice chair of MCRC, but she attends all our meetings because she's.
She should go. Everyone should be going to their LD meetings.
And Chris,
I don't care who you are.
Chris Hansel is in our LD.
Yep.
So we have a good LD. It's just smaller. But we're expanding. We're going to make it expand.
Good. That's the goal, is to activate people. And
right.
So, like I said, I had asked you, and you said, was it what you expected? I had, maybe because I wasn't going to run for National Committeewoman, but I hadn't really researched it a lot. I do know it's not like if you want to be a state committeeman, you have to be a PC. So for National Committee Woman, you don't. It's any Republican can throw their name in the hat, right? It's just like being a delegate, a national delegate or a state delegate. And you can put your name in the hat. And then for to be a state delegate, the PCs will vote for you. And then to be a national delegate, the state delegates vote for you. And to be a national committee woman, the state delegates vote for you. Right. So that is, I think that's kind of cool in the fact that you don't, you could just be, and also that means that if you move, if you switch addresses or LDs or CDs, you're not going to get knocked out. You're still, it's not tied to your address, which is nice because sometimes you have life and people are like, oh, well, too bad you moved. You're not, you're not any good to us anymore. So it's nice that you have like that security. You are going to be the National Committee Woman. It's a 4-year term.
Yes.
And what are you on? Any committees?
Yes, I'm on the Rules Committee, which is like there hasn't been much that we've done so far, but I'm on the Rules Committee, and then I'm striving to get on the temporary committees for election integrity and grassroots.
And you would mention that those were larger committees. So do you think your odds of getting on there pretty good? Like, because you've been able to attend the meetings even though you're not on those committees, right?
You're right. I attend them, and at the grassroots committee, they've let me speak, and I speak. When I have an opportunity to
You're gonna
speak
take
about,
it.
well, especially about getting the election methodology changed. We could have all the observers in the world, but if something happens with the algorithm, an observer is not going to be able to help us.
Right.
So and I have confidence right now that President Trump and his administration and a lot of our current people in leadership positions are working on getting the voting methodology changed. I do have confidence.
Good.
Yeah, because like you said, those algorithms, as a troubleshooter, I could make sure that polling place runs to the core. I mean, perfect, but I can't read what's in that computer. I can see these guys come in and program these the printers, and like they did in 2020, and I know they were doing something, but I don't know what they were doing. These guys were coming in, and it was they were punching in codes, and come to find out that the paper was too thick, or paper was too thin. They were punching in all kinds of things in the computer that on election day, everything just went to pot.
And have you been an observer like at MCTEC before?
I have not
Okay,
been
so
an observer.
I was observing there. I've observed there, I think the last couple elections that we've had. I observed in SIG Verify, and literally one of the times when I was observing, I couldn't see the like 4 people closest to me, but the observer has to sit in the seat. You can't move around.
You're too far away.
And I can't see anyone who's working on the computers on the other side.
Exactly. Right.
And I was like, what good does this do?
Right. And when I came up, we were arguing that when I was on the Municipal Oversight Committee, which dealt with the elections, and we were talking about all this. And unfortunately, the Democrats, on the committee, they just didn't care. Because the problem with the whole election integrity thing is I feel like 2016, that side was claiming the election was stolen. And then in 2020, when it was really stolen, we speak out, but because we don't have media, there's so many people that aren't on our side that it just made us look like a bunch of conspiracy theorists, etc. But you're completely right.
Right. I felt like I'm here. I'm doing everything that I can. The party did what they could. They got me, someone to put their butt in the seat and to do it, but it's not good enough.
Right.
Is Justin Heap being there now? Is that going to change?
They had to change the legislation, and Justin Heap was on that committee with me, and we were trying to get that legislation changed so that the observer could be right there looking. And then there's PPI issues that you don't want the person's private information, but all they were doing was comparing signatures. Okay, so now the obstacle
I don't understand that though. If the person who's working there can see their name, if I'm the observer, why can't I see their name? Like, you know what I mean?
It's just gaslighting. I never used the word gaslighting until 2020, right? We're being gaslit on everything.
Yeah.
Okay, but Justin Heap is our new recorder. I do
Mhm.
have confidence that he has the ability to too, except I think a lot of people know that they've kind of tied his hands.
Much as they can,
They
yeah.
changed his, I think it's called an SSA. It's an agreement that the Board of Supervisors has with him. And just to give you some examples, 1/3 of the employees at MECTEC, which is where the elections are run, are under Justin Heat, but his key card doesn't work there anymore, according to Justin. And there's a whole bunch of other things that have happened where Justin has lost his power or job. It's like he was hired for a job, but his responsibilities were pulled away from him by the Board of Supervisors.
So I know that obviously at the last EGC meeting that there was a censure for, was it the entire board or was it just the
Thomas
head?
Galvin.
Okay, just Galvin. And was it related to this this
It's
situation?
completely related to this.
Okay, because I know, I think they just sent a press release out, but I haven't had time to read it.
Just
Like I
went
said, I
out
was
this
on
morning.
vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just this morning. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still catching up. Laundry, guys, laundry. But so I'm glad that like EGC is trying to shed some light on it. I mean, there's not always a lot that we can do, but to, formally censure someone and try and put it out there, what do you
So
think?
what we're asking Thomas Galvin to do is to
Mhm.
step down as chair
Okay.
and to let either Debbie Lesko or Mark Stewart or Kate Brophy McGee be chair, because as chair, what the discussion on restoring Justin Heap's responsibilities, the chair needs to put it on the agenda. And at this point, it doesn't look like Thomas Galvin's going to put it on the agenda. The issue with the three names I just mentioned is they're brand new to the Board of Supervisors.
Right. I would say they all just won. Or I know Lesko and Mark Stewart did. Who was the third name again?
Kate Brophy McGee.
Oh, right.
And then we
Yeah.
have the Democrat.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's the one who represents me. Gallardo?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite among those three that you're kind of rooting for?
Because he's from my
Mark
legislative
Stewart.
district, Mark
I
Stewart.
knew it. I went to some sort of woman's brunch and he was there when he was running, and he was a really nice, kind man. I really did like him.
Yeah.
So I would I've met Debbie Lesko. I haven't met Kate Brophy McGee, but I would be pleased with him to be the head. I think.
Yeah, I would be fine with Mark Stewart being chair.
Yeah.
But I don't think Thomas Galvin's going to step down.
You don't think he'll do it?
No.
Well, we'll pray.
Yes.
So we need your contact. How can people contact you?
Yes, if you would like to talk
'Cause
to
we're
the
running
National
out of
Committee
time.
woman or
Yes.
hear from her besides only at the state meeting, which is only once a year. If we'd like to hear from you, do you have an email address or a phone number we could text, or how would you like people to contact
Sure.
you?
So I'm on social media and I read everything that I'm tagged in.
and
X, yeah,
Instagram.
Liz Harris MBA, Mary Bob Apple. Okay, and then on every other channel, Telegram, Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, I'm Vote Liz Harris.
Okay, and you're on TikTok.
And
Do you
I'm on
do you do TikTok?
yes, I don't do TikTok dances. I have all this stuff from TikTok when I ran in 2020
Mhm.
and they were defacing my signs, and I was making TikToks like kind of being like, oh no, they were really nasty in 2020. And that's before election integrity was even
The big thing.
No, they didn't like me because I was standing on the street corner with defend the police signs in
Scandal.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's radical.
Yeah, they
Do you have any closing remarks, because we have to wrap it up?
okay.
Yes, George and I have our LD meetings tonight, so we got
okay.
So anything else you'd like to
So
leave us with?
my big ask is to ask people to be involved, to go to their school board meetings, to go to their city council meetings, to become a precinct committeeman, because we're only at about 50% capacity for
Mhm.
precinct committeemen
In Maricopa County.
in Maricopa County. Actually, statewide, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
Oof.
Yeah.
Rough.
So, and to become involved and to understand what's going on, because where we are today, it didn't just happen over the last 4 years. It's been in the works over the last 50 to 100 years, and people need to be involved. Right now we don't have World War III, but if we aren't involved at the local level, we could be in a World War III before you know it, because local is connected to state, and that's connected to national, federal.
And precinct committeeman, were you the one who said you didn't like them calling it the tiniest elected office? Somebody said that
Oh
recently.
no, I didn't say that, but I think it's one of the biggest ones because it's at the most
Because
local level.
you're the one that people have access to.
Yes.
You're the one, like you said, a PC represents 125 registered Republicans. So you're the one who's out there. You're truly knocking doors, pounding the pavement. I mean,
And believe it or not, people are like sponges. They want that information,
Yep.
and you have that information to give them. You're their PC.
Right.
They're in your precinct, and you're talking to them. Like you said, go to all 100 and some odd PC Republicans in that area, and then let them be the representatives to the independents.
and when we have all these
Democrats and-
vacancies, that means there's all these registered Republicans with no voice. There's no PC representing them at the LD. There's no state committeeman representing them at the state meeting. So we definitely need more people to get involved. Step up, do your duty to your country and for yourself and your family, and that's
Yep.
why I'm involved. Little people like this that I
Yep.
made.
And becoming a PC really changed my life. Like, ask me 15 years ago, do you want to become a national committee woman? I'd be like, no.
What's a national
what is
committee
it? No,
woman?
why?
Right.
No. And again, I just want to tell you both that I'm so blessed to have been elected into this position. It was a very close race.
I voted for you. I don't
Thank
know about
you.
George.
But I'm so grateful because I see things that aren't quite right and I speak up.
Good, and that's what we need. If you
Yes.
see
Lucky to
something,
have
say
you.
something.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you,
for being
Liz,
on
for
our
being on the
show.
show.
Thanks.
Put a plug in for Jake. See if he wants to come.
Okay.
We'd love
Yeah,
to
we'd
have him
love to
too.
interview him, yeah.
And just thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting with us, giving us your views. If you'd like to come on again in 6 months, a year, to give us an update, tell us what's going on, we would love to have you back.
All right, wonderful.
And
Give us a synopsis of
yeah.
what's going on.
And for all our viewers, thank you for stopping and listening to us. Have some politics and chips and salsa today.